Python training by E-Skillation. Before even getting into programming language or coding itself, let us hear some interesting facts on Python. Python was created by a Dutch programmer, Guido van Rossum. He named it Python after a BBC comedy series, Monty Python's Flying Circus. Some of the interesting facts on how Python is used are: Google uses Python for various applications including system building, administration, and APIs. Python is one of the official languages at Google. Netflix, Python is employed for various aspects including data analysis, backend services, and network security. It is crucial for managing algorithms that recommend shows and movies to users. NASA, Python is used for data analysis, scientific calculations, and system management. It's instrumental in processing data for various space missions. Likewise, Amazon uses it in their recommendation systems, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. Talking about how it can be used, Python has multiple frameworks that can be used to build web applications, perform automations, API development, artificial intelligence, machine learning, testing, web crawling, visualizations, game development, and whatnot. It has its footprint throughout. Without much ado, let's get started with this interesting programming language. I am Sandeep Ratnakar, working in a business analytics domain in a renowned organization for over a decade and a continuous user of Python in most of my analytical tasks. Today, let's start with some of the prerequisites, which includes installation of Python. We will also discuss some of the IDEs which can be used to create our programs. And at the very end, let us create a simple program to check our installation and also learn how Python can be executed. Beginning with installation, Python can be downloaded from python.org and is available for all operating systems. We would see multiple versions, and each version has specific updates that can be gone through in their release notes. Using the embeddable package allows you to distribute applications on Windows that use Python as a runtime without exposing it to your users. It's nothing but zip file of only basic required libraries, and it's not supported for scaling or pip commands. The executable installers are the main way that users download Python and are also the featured downloads at python.org. Now, always go with the latest version based on your operating system. Once downloaded, execute the file as administrator to enable it for all users with necessary privileges. It is very important to have environment path variable set, and at the end, I will explain why it is necessary. Now, after installing Python, how and where do I write my programs? Well, there are so many integrated development environments or IDEs like PyCharm, Jupyter Notebook, Atom, etc. But we will be using Visual Studio Code, which is an open source developed by Microsoft. It comes with a lot of features that we will unravel in these videos. Visual Studio Code can be installed from code.visualstudio.com. Again, we will be installing it as an administrator. Now comes the very interesting part on how a Python program can be written and executed. Apart from using IDEs, writing a Python code could be as simple as using a notepad. Let us just write a simple print statement. While saving it, I will save it as a .py file. Now we can open a command prompt to our file location and execute the command Python followed by the file name .py. That's our first program in Python. Here comes the interesting fact on how our command prompt was successful in executing a Python statement. That is because of the environment variable that we enabled to be set while installing Python. While setting up an environment variable, we are providing location and executable commands to our operating system. Another simple way could be using Python in our shell or command itself by just executing Python. Let's just try to be a little creative in taking some inputs and adding it as numbers. Finally, we will also install an extension, Jupyter by Microsoft, to keep our coding a continuous working session while we learn. Some need to know details for programmers are, unlike in compiled languages like C or C++, the source code is first transformed into machine code by a compiler, and that code is executed by the machine's processor. wherein Python is an interpreted language where a source code is first translated to an intermediate code called bytecode. That is what you will see files with extensions .pyc. This is a compilation step, though not in a traditional sense. This bytecode is then interpreted by Python Virtual Machine or PVM, the way the computer can understand and execute, which happens at the runtime. The .pyc files are created alongside and keeps a track of the source file checks and timestamps. If no differences, it doesn't need the .py file. Instead, it just uses the .pyc files for execution. In our upcoming video, we will start looking at Python's built-in data types. Subscribe to our channel to get more notifications on the videos.